Welcome back to another History Teacher Reacts video with Mr. Terry as I continue my search for historical knowledge here on the internet. Alright, today's video seems like an interesting one. It was picked by our patron pledgers, and it is Extremist Ideologies Explained Through Minecraft Village by ibxtoycat. I don't know much about this channel, but this seems like an interesting thing if it can go through, yeah, like extremist ideologies, especially if it, ones that have been prevalent in history, to see it come through, I guess, Minecraft and building these societies. So I have no idea what to expect. So interesting pick from the patrons, but it sounds fascinating to me. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. If you like this original video, go down below, and down in the description will be the link to it. So make sure you go over there, give it a like, give it a subscription of yourself if you like the channel. And pretty awesome. All right. Again, this was chosen by our patron pledgers. If you'd like to be able to vote in polls that get videos featured on this channel, go down below and you can join that as well, starting at $1 a month if you want to. But thanks for being here. Let's go ahead and just get started.
Hello, I'm ibxtoycat, and one of the common problems of the modern world is that people want to be political extremists, but they can't work out which faction to be political extremists for. I mean, it's such a common problem when you want to be extreme, but you don't know which extreme is the best extreme, which is why I'm making today's video, because as you all do know, the first thing people turn to when they want political advice is, of course, Minecraft videos. So today, we're explaining political extremism through this Minecraft village and the various changes it undergoes.
Okay, cool. All right, so, okay, I only stopped just to say that Minecraft is such a good program. It's a game, but can be used as basically a program to do so many creative things, right? It's a sandbox game. And I think this is a brilliant idea if you're going to set up communities based off of ideologies and try to show what they would look like. And I think that would take a lot of skill and just knowledge of these concepts to be able to set this up. So I think this is a really, really cool idea. All right, so libertarianism. All right, let's see what they're going to say about it. And how do you make the Minecraft society or village or whatever reflect that? I'm interested to see what they go here. Obviously, this video is really popular. It's got like well over 1 million views within less than a year. So let's see.
So, in the libertarian village, most of the villagers are incredibly wealthy from trading. However, there are no iron golems, so the village gets raided and everyone dies.
So they got no... Okay, so they do very well economically, but they don't... They aren't investing in their military, so it could leave them vulnerable. Guess that could be something that people, criticizing libertarianism might be that they're going to be very economically, a lot of free economics going on there, but not going into your military. Okay, so that just made them a victim for like any other village out there. Makes sense. I mean, they didn't like 10 seconds, but all right, fascism. Interesting. Let's see what they go. If they go more of a, I guess, a classical, more I guess. Like a Mussolini, Italian type of fascism, or if it's somehow you're going to be more like racial with like a German fascism. Let's see.
In the fascist village, the village itself looks really bad. The villagers themselves are doing really bad, but at least they all know they're not one of those other types of villagers. In the
wait. Let's go back. These are so short. I guess we can just look at them. Like,
no, they're not.
We can just look at them all again.
In the fascist village, the village itself looks really bad. The villagers themselves are doing really bad, but...
Well, I guess in especially the Italian and German scenarios, fascism emerged in a not very strong time, especially with the Germans, of course. But post-war for either of them. And so maybe I don't know if that's what they're kind of talking about there, because the thing that people said was always trade-off with fascism was, yeah, they might not like how a lot of things handled, but like things are going generally pretty well. What was that famous quote that may or not have happened? They're like, they don't like Mussolini, but the trains run on time. You know what I mean? So it's like this give and take thing. But fascism is also supposed to be like glorification of the state. The state comes first. That's with that. So
at least they all know they're not one of those other types of villagers.
And national pride is huge in fascism. So yeah, I guess you're not the other ones. Primitivism. So okay.
In the primitivist village, everyone destroys their houses, and of course the walls that separate them, and instead all of the villagers live off the land and of course eat rabbits, which arguably makes them happier.
Okay. So they're just living super simple. That's been kind of one of the things that they say is that just because people in the past have lived what has seemingly been primitive lives in history doesn't necessarily mean they were less happy, right? A lot of them have more time to do things, other things as well. So you can see like John Green in the Crash Course series talked about that a lot. About they really seem to kind of emphasize actually those type of communities in a way that said they were happy, and as John said, they're more time for other types of community building things and scootily pooping, if you know about the John Green terminology out of Crash Course. Okay, absolute monarchism. All right, so absolute monarchy. So you're going to have a ruler, and they rule with absolute power. They don't use democratic process. Don't even delegate, actually, very much. Absolute rulers, people like Louis XIV of France or maybe Peter the Great of Russia. Those would be considered absolute monarchs, people that took control basically of every institution. So how would you have that come through Minecraft? Let's see.
Under monarchism, all of the villagers farm and work for the monarch's benefit, and in exchange, some of that wealth is very generously given back to the village.
That's always been support of if you're especially looking at it from the feudal perspective, where it's like, hey, you have this person that is powerful, right? They have land, they have protection, and you work for that person, not necessarily for wages, but for protection and a livelihood. Otherwise, you couldn't survive on your own.
But I mean, it could be worse, right?
All right, communism. So everyone's just they're gonna say just everyone shares all the stuff.
To the village. But I mean, it could be worse.
I went back 5 seconds here. Okay.
Under communism, everybody farms. However, all food but
Can you make like banners like this? Is that them trying to make a hammer and sickle?
belongs to the state. However, the state decides that everyone starves to death.
The state decides. The state can decide if you, work with a communism that is completely run by the government, where they can deliberately, if wanting, to cut food supplies, right? Which has often been, or was a tool, like in the Soviet Union, things for places that maybe shared more dissent, as a way to kind of get people together. Frenchism. Okay, I don't know what to say.
In the French village, all of the villagers are permanently on strike. And also, no one can understand what they're saying.
Down strike, yeah. I mean, in Europe in general, strikes are, like, especially labor strikes, are so much more common than like in the United States where I live. It's just like a normal thing where you can be there on a vacation or something, and it's like normal thing. Yeah, the train workers are on strike. It'll be over in a day or two. But anyway, they don't understand what we're saying. Why? Because they're French. Do you speak French?
By the way, I know a lot of people are going to say this isn't the actual French flag. I know this is a common misconception, because the most common flag flown on the French battlefield looks something like this. So this...
Is that the English guy taking a stab at the French? Is that why he's saying he can't understand him and then putting up a white flag? Not fair. All right, wait, what's the next one? Low blow.
The most common flag flown on the French battlefield looks something like this.
Colonialism. Okay, so you're a colony, and someone, a foreign nation, is going to take advantage of you and take advantage of your resources, and you're not going to benefit so much. The key is going to be the imperial nation. Their benefits come first.
So this village is exactly the same as all of the other villages, except a few of its houses are a bit further away than normal, with as much as a quarter of the world being covered in houses which are from this exact same village.
I guess they're just using the British perspective here, right? So Britain, colonized at its height probably about a fourth of the population of the world, especially when it has huge parts of North America and India and things like that, a bunch of parts of Africa. So that's a lot.
And let's just say the houses weren't exactly built by that original village.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We'd like to see them say maybe something more about exploitation, right? Exploitation of the colony. Politico-religionism. What's happening here?
In this village, there's a lot more emphasis on the church. And so instead of farming, we pray to the deity that all of the crops will grow. But they don't, so we all starve and still die.
So it just reminds me of like the Reformation, Protestant Reformation, when you had these groups that were so confident in their religious beliefs that they thought basically their God would just make everything happen for them. Like go into a battle without having any weapons because God will just wipe out the enemies. And you don't usually hear those groups anymore because they all die out, just like you were saying. Our National Socialism. Are we going to go Nazis here? This is what Nazis stood for.
So this village is a really great idea that has absolutely never been tried in real life before. All we have to do is build really nice roads for everyone to enjoy, and then kill all of the villagers with big noses. Although...
So they are going Nazi there. I'll let it finish.
That's probably not such a great idea given the population of the village. Also, just in case you do see some historic precedent here, the roads actually weren't instigated by a certain leader that might have had tendencies towards both nationalism and socialism. And basically because of that, you got to bear in mind that it was actually kind of a Weimar project that was headed up by a certain man with certain mustached policies.
Hitler. He's talking about Hitler. Anyway, so what he's referring to, if you don't know, is when the Nazis came to power, right? Nazi was shortened from National Socialist. Their biggest issue was unemployment. Unemployment was unbelievable in Germany in the early to mid 20s, right? A lot of that, again, mostly because of the ravages from World War I and the Treaty of Versailles and stuff like that. And one of the things that the Nazi Party had done was public works programs, try to get people working. And one of those were infrastructure projects like highways, like the Autobahn, for example. So that's what he's referring to. But then, returning on the, he's making Jew references to Jews in their state there. All right, Juche socialism. This is North Korea. So the Juche is basically a term in Korean that essentially basically means like up yours world, like we don't need you kind of thing. So very inward, internalized.
Under Juche socialism, we cut ourselves off from the outside world.
And look at the walls he's built, massive. Okay, we're just inside. Nobody's getting in, nobody's getting out.
Then we get to pretend that we're doing the best. Although in reality, building a wall so big is probably a bit too expensive and probably takes away from the well-being of our people. But if you never see any of the people, then we can lie and we can just say they're doing just great inside those houses they definitely live in over there. No slums here, that's for sure. Just a beautiful, glorious state under our supreme leader.
So, okay. So if you're not catching the references with it's going to North Korea. They're talking about North Korea, and along their border with South Korea. One thing that's been famous about North Korea is they build up a really good facade to show off across the border, like these big, nice buildings to make it appear that it's going really well there. When actually a lot of those buildings, like they were referring to, were actually empty. Nobody lived them. They were fake. Like they're hollow on the inside, just to give the impression that things are going way better than they actually are. All right, globalism. So they're just saying, hey, we have all kinds of ethnicities and everyone's welcome. We'll see.
In the globalist village, there is no war anymore. But instead, all of our villagers are leather workers and they export all of their leather armor to other villages. This might sound like a criticism, but leather armor is really cheap now, so we've got that going for us. It's also really cheap to make the banners that describe exactly where we're at, which is why we've got the one true flag in bulk quantity today. This is a couple of flags I could get used to seeing side by side.
Earth and Britain. Guy's coming through with his heritage there. Okay, anyway, Ireland circa 1800, okay.
Wouldn't it be wacky if instead of farming all of the crops...
Are they just going to go like potato famine here? Which is such a tragic event in Irish history, where millions basically were starving to death, leading to a mass exodus of Irish people to places like the United States.
We just farm potatoes?
Yeah, so you get so reliant on one thing. Corporatism, alright, business is going to run things, huh?
The corporatist village is very well...
America!
Most of the villagers own their own homes, but they do so by working in a giant office every single day, 9 to 5. They feel locked inside. They feel like their life has no meaning. They feel like they are trapped in this office for every single hour of every single day. But deep inside them, they realize even though they have all of the physical possessions they could ever want, their life has next to no meaning. Trying to fill the void of their leftover time with something that just makes them feel less alone. But they are always alone. They are always alone, or they are always working, and they feel as though just this one more YouTube video, that'll be the thing that fixes it, but it never really is.
So we're talking about how depressed America is, with their 9 to 5 jobs, even though they have everything taken care of and shouldn't be depressed about things because they actually have things very, very good.
On the other hand, though, being rich is pretty swell because, I mean, who doesn't want enchanted golden apples?
Switzerland, alright. We just go neutral, living in the mountains.
So we live in the mountains, but we have a lot of gold, and no one's really sure where it all came from in.
Nazis. That's what their criticism is going to be, that the Swiss were able to stay neutral because that's where the Nazis kept their assets, their gold.
What's the point in explaining?
All right, nihilism. All right, this could be interesting.
This one, we're all doomed anyway, so why even try?
So just staying super pessimistic. Don't even care. He's just killing his character off with lava. Villager ethno state. Okay.
So we don't really have any policies or any progress or anything that actually keeps us going forwards. So instead, we'll base everything on the color of, our skin. As you can see, this villager's skin is yellow because he's from a jungle. So we're going to deport all the villagers that don't look like the superior villagers because we're clearly the best based on that color.
Oh, they're just going pure ethnic cleansing. Okay.
That's right, we just politely ask people to leave, and then they all mysteriously do.
Brutal. Alright, 21st century liberal democracy. Okay. They should go like Scandinavia here. We'll see what's happened.
So we finally work out a system that manages to separate the church and the state, that manages to give everybody a voice, and that manages to avoid violence for the vast majority of villagers, and that all that involves is an election. However, nobody votes in the election, and then everybody complains that politicians suck. Like this guy, what's he even doing? Then all politicians suck, that's what I say.
Okay, they just take it for granted. Like, everything's going fine. Who cares about democracy? Don't need to do it. Oh, but I'm not going to vote, but I'm going to be mad if someone gets elected, even though I didn't vote for them or vote against them, and still feel the right to complain. The irony of democracy, right? Technocracy.
So there are no longer any elections. Instead, we put a librarian village in charge because he looks the smartest and probably knows the most and can probably work out public policy decisions based on his expertise that he's gained in the library that he spent some time in.
Okay.
Yep, this definitely seems like a better version of democracy to me.
Alright, it's like 8 to 49. Oh no. Okay, I just went back to the potato stuff. Potato famine. Alright, Zimbabwe.
So everybody likes emeralds.
If it's great Zimbabwe, that was an incredible African nation for a long time.
Right? Why don't we duplicate until everybody has billions of emeralds? Why don't everyone had all the emeralds all of the time?
So the thing they're referring to here, as you heard about, is the just insane hyperinflation that Zimbabwe had, where if you can buy you can get like $1 trillion bill that's worth like 2 cents or something, whatever it is, some crazy thing.
Well, our currency's worthless because everyone has billions of it, and this is all the British's fault, is what I've taken away from this.
I actually want to know more about that story, about what happened with the hyperinflation in Zimbabwe. I want to learn more about it because I remember I had a couple students that or a student or something that brought it in and was like, "Look, I have like $1 trillion Zimbabwe bucks." I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I knew it was hyperinflated, and then I looked like, is that actually, like, it seems like a lot. And then you look at it, and it's like virtually worthless. Utilitarianism. Okay, so the whole idea of the goal of society should be the maximum amount of happiness for the maximum amount of people. This was a response to the early Industrial Revolution, where they thought workers were being exploited and working conditions were bad, and that our goal as a society should be to focus more on the well-being of others.
There's no food left in the village, so we find the oldest villager, and we're going to kill him and eat his flesh. It's just the logical course of action. For the greater good. Oh, now cannibalism's too good for the smart library villager. Maybe he should be eaten next.
Now, are they using that as just like a metaphor, or am I missing a utilitarian group that actually went to that actually identified as utilitarian, that practice cannibalism? But yeah, he was right though. The idea of like the greater good is that's the most important thing of society.
So there you go. I hope this video helped to radicalize you, helped to get you on board with some of those extreme ideas. Maybe you want to be extreme one way or the other way, and now you know just how great they really turn out, and all the time, every time. Because as we all know, rather than talking to people about your ideas, it's way better to think about them inside your head and then never discuss them with the world, but assume you're right all the time. All the best systems have come.
Great point. Humanity in a nutshell.
When someone hasn't compromised with someone else, and instead they've just taken over the country. And what's even better than that is when you don't only just, stick an idea in your head, you take an idea from literally over 100 years ago in a few of these cases, right? You take 100-year-old ideas and then you make those into modern day things. It goes really great. That's why all the successful countries, famously use 100-year-old ideologies that they've never adjusted, never tried to work out if it works in the modern day world in the slightest. Instead, they just assume that, yeah, you know what, if they thought it was a solution to 100 year ago's problems, it's totally the solution to all the problems that are facing the world today with the increasing amount of automation of jobs and whatnot. Yeah, those things can be fixed with the...
He's making some interesting points just as he's letting them go here, which is a lot of these ideologies people stick to, and a lot of these ideologies are before kind of what you would consider real modernization in a way, and you can define that however you want. But he's making this, I think, a pretty good point, though, that as times change, ideologies have to adapt, don't they? In some way, because there are new challenges that are always happening. So what might have worked a long time ago may not work now. And that's the hard thing, though, is you don't know. I mean, you can look at history for examples of things, but history does not always repeat itself when it comes to a changing world, especially an ever-changing world that we live in today.
The exact same problems as from 100 years ago. What smart people were. What smart people we were back then. In the same way, I only use Windows 95 because they perfected it back then. Everything since then has been impure, ruining of that original idea, and I won't have that in my beautiful village. But yeah, no, more seriously, I hope you all enjoyed the video. It took a long time to put all these things together. In case you're curious as to how we did all this stuff, because I did make most of a village into one of those things each time. Well, basically, I have this really solid seed. So long story short, I have a box of flags, and I have a really nice seed, in my opinion, from which they all, can be placed down. Because this village right here, I decided to build a wall around. It's one of the best villages I've ever seen in Minecraft Seed. It manages to have not only a jungle and a swamp, so kind of like minority groups in that way, but a much bigger majority of the plains biome. But then it also has an outward threat the entire time of the pillager outpost. And
okay, so he did actually make those villages, and right now I guess he's just highlighting just one that he kind of really likes. He say if this was based off of one of those ideologies, or just showing it off a little bit, because it's kind of cool. It's got the different biomes and things.
Even though it didn't come up on all of the villages, the fact that it kind of has that kind of not political thing going on, but a lot of the factors that make a modern day thing. There's a outward threat we're all scared of. There are different groups with different priorities, different rich levels. Like, oh yeah, up here, look how rich the villagers are. Down there, look how sad the villager houses are in the swamp, which interestingly enough lines up with the swamp minority. Is that a coincidence? Heck if I know. I'm not making any actual political commentary here. And I just wanted to give a quick...
Except he is, right? So he's building in this town based off of like, okay, the worst environments are naturally going to be places where higher income people aren't going to want to live. So you are resorted to the lower income communities that live, by the swamp or something like that. Showing the diversity, I guess, of cities, especially the large cities today, where they're so diverse, and these are this type of community, and this is this type of community, and having to deal with all those issues.
Quick plug to it in case you do want to check that Seed Sunday out. It'll be linked down below, and if it's not, then you can find it on my channel. It should be linked down below. Tell me in the comments it's not linked down below, and then it will be linked down below, and all the comments telling me that it's not linked down below will suddenly suddenly just appear to be wrong. But no, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, because I don't know, I like the idea of just making fun of everyone, and I hope you do too. So see you all in the next video, regardless of if we do that or not. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Okay. All right, so okay, so he went with the quick cuts, right? Going through these different ideologies, little hints of historical content there, which of course I liked. Hopefully, I was able to add some context to just, the little things, and it was cool. I guess, just kind of seeing that, using Minecraft more as a tool, like to do commentary. Maybe that's what this channel does a little bit more of, is using Minecraft to do a lot of other things, right? Because necessarily like explore the villages necessarily. Like, what would a fascist one look like? Because instead it just kind of explains what it looked like, necessarily showing what it would look like. And again, that would be very difficult to do, and would be extremely impressive if someone's like, all right, this is okay. in the fascist village or the communist village. Okay, here's exact, like, we're just going to show you everything. Here's the community, like, here's all the workers, and then there's all this, and showing, like, if you could show somehow in the villages what the positive and benefits would be, and actually like show it with like the evidence from the cities themselves. That'd be cool. That would, I mean, that would take so much more time. You would be able to do, I mean, I don't know how, if anyone counted, let me know how many different ideologies you put in there. It would have to be like one video where it's like, hey, communism explained through Minecraft. That would be kind of neat. I'd love to see if anyone has anything like that, or like, yeah, or just like recreating. And it doesn't have to be just the ideologies, but it would be cool just to see, like, all right, let's recreate. Yeah, you could do like Stalin era Russia, or shoot, I don't know, the Renaissance in Florence, or ancient Rome, or something like that, and try to make it historically, not just like, okay, here's a building that looks like the Colosseum, but like society, how could that be organized? And maybe you can't really do that with Minecraft. I'm just thinking on top of my head some other things that would be really cool to do with Minecraft, for history, is try to create like a social as well as architectural recreation of what life would be like. If there's anything like that, that'd be cool. And if you're a Minecraft person, that'd be cool if you did that. If you ever do anything like that, let me know. That would be really cool. Well, anyway, I thought this was just kind of fun, I guess, to see that. You see him putting his little wisecracks in there, and showing his personality, which is big part of being a content creator, is being able to do that and have some fun with that. But it was cool. I liked a lot of the points that he made, because a lot of them were, did have some accuracy there. So, all right, well, it was kind of cool just to get something very different than what I've done before. If you guys know me, I love video games. I love Minecraft. Minecraft's such a incredible game, and such a stalwart of just the last decade or so of gaming, and what it's kind of changed what gaming is. Such a big thing, and you can do so much with it. It's really, there are no limits there. So awesome to there. Just to remind you guys, this video was voted on by patrons this week, has won the weekly poll. So thanks to you guys that were participating in there. And like I said before the video, if you would like to join our Patreon, pledges start at just $1 a month. If you feel like supporting the channel that way, there's a link down below. Other ways you can support the channel, and to get more involved, is join our Discord server. There's a link down below, and you could talk with a lot of history-minded people and get a little more up-to-date with what's going on with the channel and being a part of our community there. Thanks to everyone that has been watching, subbing, contributing in any way, if it's whether it's monetarily or, most importantly, just being a part of our community and watching. I truly appreciate it. It makes what I do a lot more fun, and makes me want to keep doing this. So if you haven't subbed, love to have you around. Hit that notification bell so I can see you guys in live premieres and during live streams. If you're new to my channel too, and I just talked about gaming, I do a lot of gaming streams too, and try to do a lot of cool, like, history kind of related games and stuff like that. So anyway, hope to see you around. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.